Call Yahweh Bashim Awashai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Ruel. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this. Wherever you are, whatever your lot may be, back at you with another quick one. Now, we understand the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, Job 9:24. And I'm going to let this video play, but I'll put it on you to research who is funding these abominations, or this abomination in particular. Okay, just in time for the 1 cent burgers or the 50-cent burgers, right? So again, listen. You see, it says what is it? The name or handle or whatever is Humble Truth Seeker. You can look this up. Well, I think it's like a 4 or 5 part series. I'm just gonna play this one, and we're gonna get a couple of scriptures, and that'll be the video. But this is the spirit of the Edomite, to pervert everything, to try to make his own way instead of keeping the ways that the Lord said. We try to do everything the way he wants to do it. So this is the perfectly created vessel to be hated, perfectly created vessel to be destroyed.
Welcome to the Meat Lab.
You can eat in here.
Yes.
But I don't see any animals and I don't see any animal parts.
Well, that's the trick, right? These are the tissue production cultivators. We invented this sort of technology in order to grow tissue.
Is it safe?
Absolutely.
To make a delectable lab.
Just like the thing that goes in your arm was safe, right? Back in 2020, where people lost their jobs, their homes, their livelihoods, because of something that was so-called safe.
Grown meat nugget, you'll need a few very special ingredients. Number 1, growth factors. Things like sugar, amino acids, vitamins, and trace elements to give the meat everything it needs to grow. And you'll of course extract these factors from the cheapest food imaginable, soy.
And so they're going to need things like soybean hydrolysate to provide amino acids. And where do we get soybean hydrolysate from? Well, you get it from soybeans. And how do you get soybeans? Well, you plant these giant monocrops. And what happens when you plant giant monocrops? Well, you decimate the whole ecosystem.
But the problem...
Right, but they will turn around and tell you this is for the environment. This helps the environment. Right? This man is a liar. Anything that he says that he tells you is good is bad. He is the opposite. Example. Let's say you got Israelites that don't cover the crown of their head, right? Actually, let's get that real quick. Man praying with his head covered. I know it's in Corinthians. First Corinthians 11:4. Actually, I want to leave it at Genesis because I had something for that. So, we'll pull it up right here. Every man who prayeth or prophesieth or prays, this is the NIV at the top. Let's do the NLT. A man dishonors his head if he covers his head while praying or prophesying. Now, the mitre or mitre, what the Levites had while doing their priestly duties, left the crown uncovered. Our people have always wrapped around the head, had head wraps or mitres or mitres, but the crown of the head was uncovered. Now, those people claiming to be Israelites, the JOOs, they leave everything exposed but the crown. They do everything clean opposite, clean contrary. So when Malachi 1:4 calls them the border of wickedness, you understand why.
with soy is that it has more estrogen than any other bean in existence. No, seriously, 1 cup of soybeans has the equivalent amount of estrogen as 20,000 cups of chickpeas. If you don't know, estrogen is to females what testosterone is to males. Estrogen is what makes women women. But when estrogen levels become too high, especially in males, it can lead to a whole lot of problems like infertility,
And there's your number 1, the infertility, because this thing is about population control. Never forget that. Kill off a lot, Leave a few so they're easier to control.
Testosterone, slow growth, shrinking muscle mass, and weight gain. So yep, let's shove it into our lab-grown meat. And once your delicious soy plasma is complete, you'll need to add in your animal cells. Because remember, the goal here is to grow edible meat from just a few animal cells. But you can't just use any old regular cells from a chicken or a cow or whatever. That's because regular cells from a piece of animal meat, for example, just simply don't grow fast enough. Regular animal cells only
Because there's an order that Yahweh has set up in the earth. And what does he do? He You know what? Let me go ahead and pull up Malachi. We'll come back to Genesis 25. We'll read it from 2, the highlighted portion. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste. And that is why he's trying to build back better. Let's say that. And waits for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation with forever. So this is them continuing on in their enterprise, trying to build something without the blessing and the anointing of the Lord. But of course we understand through prophecy that he is only going to be allowed to go so far.
Multiply a few dozen times. So yeah, you're never going to get your lab-grown meat factory going with cells like that. You need a type of cell that will grow to infinity super fast. And you want to know what cells multiply super fast? Cancer cells.
Look into a lady if you don't know already, Henrietta Lacks. So they even need, not only do they need the creation of the Lord to further their enterprise, they can't do anything, they can't create anything on their own. They need the raw material that the Lord has already put in the earth. They also need the likeness and the cellular makeup of a Jake woman, of an Israelite woman, Henrietta Lacks. You look into her if you don't know who she is.
Think about it.
In regards to cancer cells.
Tumors grow fast and get out of control, which is why cancer is so scary. But that also makes cancer cells the perfect catalyst for lab-grown meat. But obviously you're not gonna call them cancer cells because branding. Hello? Cancer has a bad ring to it. If people knew that the reason you can grow monstrous masses of meat so quickly was because you were using cancer cells, they would chuck their lab-grown meat right into the toilet.
Or would they? Because the masses, especially the masses of Americans, are probably the stupidest people on the planet. But you see, it's quick as possible, fast as possible. I need it right now. No matter the cost, right? And it reminds me of how he got rid, or he sold. Of course, it was authorized, or not authorized. It was ordained in the spirit that the birthright didn't belong to him, but he went about giving it away because he didn't care. He wanted right now. You see that spirit of no patience, of not letting things come to fruition by way of the Lord, having faith. It's not in him for that. All right, so Genesis 25 and 26, and after that his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she bare and Isaac 60 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. All right, Jacob was content. And Isaac loved Esau, but he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau... I'm finna start getting interrupted. And Esau, because he did eat venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Dang it. 29 is where I'm at. Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, that with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom, and or Ishashua, or wasted away. And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me?" All right, so you see, no faith, none of that, just whatever. Here you go, take it.
So you call them immortalized cells instead. Immortalized cells are defined as either tumorous cells that do not stop dividing or cells that have been artificially manipulated to proliferate indefinitely and can thus be cultured over several generations. These cells are immortal because they multiply infinitely, like a tumor. And immortalized cells sounds much better. And when the media questions you about these immortalized cells, you tell them that, hey, scientists have been using these for decades, it's old technology. And don't worry, cancerous animal cells are completely safe, even though there are actual laws against selling cancerous meat in the US because of how dangerous it is. In an article titled, "Are Things Like Cancerous Tumors Allowed by Meat Inspection?" by Michigan State University, cancerous lesions or tumors are not allowed to enter commerce or the food chain. If laboratory results indicate the presence of cancer within the carcass will be marked, US inspected, and condemned. Once a carcass is condemned, it is denatured and disposed of, so it cannot enter the food chain. But lab-grown meat, you get a free pass. Even though the industry doesn't have the decades of data to prove that cultured meat products won't give you cancer. And when the meat...
Just like they don't have decades of data to prove that the thing that they're trying to force in you, and probably going to bring back more different ones, because I also did a video about in New York, they're talking about trying to just put people in concentration camps. I don't know how far they've gone into the deliberation, but while you're in there, they can give you whatever, right? And and I did the video, they can feed you food no matter what they are. And we brought out the scripture about, being fed foods sacrificed unto idols, right? So as you can see, this is the man of lawlessness. 2 Thessalonians talks about that son of perdition being revealed. This is him. If you look and you follow the money, you will see all of the evil and wicked things that deal with death, decay, and destruction. When the Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply," when the Lord put law, statutes, commandments on this earth, when the Lord set in order for this earth, this devil does the complete opposite. So now you see, and of course there are many more extensive videos done about revealing who Esau Edom is, but this is just a small portion, something you can look into, something that you can see and do your due diligence and your research to see, wow, this man really is the man of sin. This nigga really is wicked. So when you read Malachi 1 and 4, it should ring a little bit different now. So with that being said, I pray that you were edified by this very short, quick, to the point video. With that being said, shalom.